Hi guys, this is Shalom and welcome back to my channel. If you're coming from TikTok, we're so happy to have you here. And if you've been a YouTube subscriber all this time, yay, I'm back and I'm back with a bang. I'm back with good news. So what we're doing, we're going to have live discussions, or rather we're going to have real-time topics about issues that are affecting us as we're looking for jobs. We're going to talk about the trauma of job hunting. We're going to talk about how to apply for jobs. So we're going to have different topics each week. So please subscribe because this channel will never get boring. This is where we do the hard work. We find jobs for you. We give you tips on how to apply to these jobs. All you have to do is be awesome and tune in. Now, today, we're going to talk about the trauma of job hunting. And these are the things that nobody has warned you about. Because most of the times, let's be honest, guys, job hunting can be traumatic. You go through things, you go through issues, you go through different phases of being sad, of being excited, of being depressed, but mostly depressed. But who is talking about it? Who is talking about the things that we go through? Who's talking about the pain that we go through? Who's talking about how hard it is to actually search for a job in this market? So now, if you have ever applied for any job, you've opened your email and you know that feeling where you feel, you can feel your stomach dropping, you can feel your heart breaking. You've refreshed job boards, you've gone on LinkedIn, you've gone on all these job sites, and you're there the first hour, the second hour, it feels like, no, this is a full-time job. Looking for a job feels like a full-time job. You're on your phone, you're on your laptop, you cannot even think straight. There is so much trauma in job hunting. And if you've ever started questioning your worth because you have applied to 200 jobs in a day, and silence, you do not hear anything, nobody's responding, nobody's telling you, you're not even getting regrets, then this video is for you. Because job hunting doesn't just drain you, it quietly traumatizes people. And the sad part is, most of the times people will rarely talk about it. You will not have a conversation with your parents like, Mom, Dad, I'm looking for a job and it's so hard. You do not talk to your co-workers about it. You do not talk to your friends about it. And worst of all, you may not even talk to your spouse about it if you're married, So you're going through this trauma of looking for a job, this trauma of rejection, and you're silently keeping it. And that is where the job hunting depression starts. So why does it matter? Why is it important that we talk about the trauma? We talk a lot about toxic jobs, definitely. I have worked in an environment that was toxic, and I think most people have gone through toxic work environments, and they rarely talk about it. Or you talk about it, but you're scared of being stigmatized. We talk about burnout after employment, like, yo guys, I left that job because I was tired, I left that job because I was depressed, I left that job because this was happening, da. But we almost never talk about what happened or what happens before the job. So picture this, you have months of uncertainty. You find a job, you look at it and you're like, oh yeah, I'm qualified for this job. You apply to this job, first week is gone, second week is gone, the first month is gone. You haven't got any response. And the worst part about job hunting is that you face this rejection, and most of the time it does not come with an explanation. People who are hiring, the recruiters, the HRs, they're not telling you, hey Shalom, you did not get this job because of this and this. You did not get this job because you are not qualified. You did not get this job because of your location. It is pure silence. And so the constant need to prove to yourself that, what they're saying doesn't matter. I am good enough. And the worst part is, or the most crazy part is, you are applying to jobs, you're pitching yourself to strangers, to people who do not know you, to people who have never met you, and these are people who will never reply. So can you imagine that feeling where, you've polished your resume, you've done your research, you're qualified for this job, and you apply, you pitch yourself, and then it's silence. Nobody says a word. You do not get any response, no reply. I'm telling you, job hunting, it's not just stressful, it is psychologically draining. And job hunt trauma, for the most time, is what happens when there's prolonged rejection. So there's rejection. You apply for jobs. Maybe let's say you take your time, you apply for 100 jobs in a day, right? So out of those 100, let's say you get like 2 to 3 regrets. That is prolonged rejection. One, those people who are sending you regrets, they're rejecting you. And those people who are not sending you regrets, they're also rejecting you, but silently. And so you start to feel like, oh my gosh, am I invisible? And to some extent, it can change how you see yourself. Do you ask yourself questions like, am I a failure? Like, am I that unqualified? You know you're qualified, but their silence makes you second guess your every decision, your every move, your emotions. And sometimes it makes you feel like, no, this is wrong. Maybe I should just quit. But remember, you're not weak. The system is emotionally unsafe. And when effort stops leading to feedback, your brain starts, to fill in the gaps. And let's be honest about it. We're human. We are human. At some point, you're going to start sounding like, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe my experience doesn't matter. Maybe I missed my chance. Maybe I'm not the right kind of color that they're looking for. Maybe I'm not the right kind of tribe that they're looking for. So you have all these questions and you don't have answers. And it kills you if you're keeping it to yourself. It kills you if you have no one to talk to about it. Let's be honest, a lot of people cannot even afford to go to therapy. You cannot afford therapy. So how are you supposed to go through this experience? And the worst part is that it's not an experience that only takes a week or a month. This is an experience that can take up to 2, 3, 4 years. I'll be honest with you. When I quit my job at an airline, it took me 3 years to land another job. And you can imagine it's 3 years of trauma. It's 3 years of rejection. It's 3 years of silence. It's 3 years of second guessing myself. Like, what's wrong with me? Am I in the wrong field? Did I make a mistake? Am I not good enough? You start putting your value and your worth with the responses you're getting. And so most of the times you will not even see the signs. People don't even realize that the signs are there. People don't even realize that they're traumatized by job hunting. So sometimes you get, let's say, a positive response. Someone says, "Hi Shalom, I got your resume. I have time next week. Can you talk?" So between receiving that message today and next week, you hesitate to apply. Let's say they said, "Send me your resume," or "I know that someone who's hiring, send your job here." Because of all the trauma that you faced, because of all the rejection that you faced, you ask yourself questions like, should I even apply? Is it even worth it? Okay, maybe I will apply, but I have to change my resume. So most of the time, and I tell people this, you have to change your resume to suit the job that you're applying to. But what happens if you're applying to 200 jobs per day? Do you change your resume 200 times in a day? So can you imagine what you're going through? Like if someone tells you, "Oh, I had there's a job here, can you apply?" And now you're overthinking, or you're thinking, how am I going to change my resume? And then you even here you're facing rejection. You're rejecting yourself even before you know that it happens. So you're like, okay, so I'm going to apply and it's just going to be the same thing. I'm not going even to get the job, Or you apply and then you're so scared to even check your emails. Like, oh my goodness, I'm going to check my emails. You're expecting the results. It's going to be another regret. And you start feeling exhausted doing nothing. Because all this time that you're going through all these questions and this phase and these emotions, you're probably not even applying to jobs, or you're applying to jobs that you're not even qualified for. Or you just give up. And let's be real. When you're applying for jobs, especially when you are unemployed, There is embarrassment that comes with being unemployed. You want to go somewhere with your friends, or you want to do something for your kids, or you want to do something for your spouse. You do not have a job. And how do you feel? Like, let's say you're a wife and you're supposed to do something for your husband. Let's say it's his birthday. You and your friends talk about how they're buying gifts for their spouses, but you do not have a job. You want to do something for someone you love, you do not have a job, so you start feeling embarrassed. Do you know that it can even lead to you lying up to people about, oh, I got this job, I'm working remotely? It comes with a lot of stress. It comes with you thinking, maybe I'm not good enough, maybe I do not even deserve my family. Maybe I do not deserve to be a mom, to be a wife, to be a husband. There is shame that comes with being unemployed. And who is talking about that shame? Who's talking about the feelings and the emotions and the phases of depression that you go through when you do not have a job? Who is telling you that it is okay? You do not put your value equal to the rejection. Who's talking about it? And the biggest part, or the biggest one of all, is that we start believing that silence is a reflection of your value. So if you're not getting responses, then I must undervalue myself. If I'm applying to 200 jobs in a day, that means by the end of the week, I'm applying to 1,000 jobs and nobody's responding, nobody's giving me a chance. Then you start telling yourself things like, I must be worthless. I do not deserve this. If you're applying for managerial position, you start lowering your standards because of that rejection. You do not believe that you can be a manager anymore. Maybe I'm not skilled enough. Maybe I'm not qualified enough. Maybe I'm not educated enough. Maybe I'm not eloquent enough. But when you go through these emotions over and over again, you've applied for the first job, no response. You've applied to the second job, no response. It starts to feel real. It starts to feel like this is actually who I am. And job hunting actually messes with your mental health. Here's the part that nobody explains. As a human, we need closure. Like when you're in a relationship, let's say, shalom, I have a boyfriend and we're in a relationship and, we're happy, we're lovey-dovey, we're in that honeymoon phase. And then things just end abruptly. You need closure. And job hunting will mess with you because the human brain, naturally, scientifically, we need closure. So, and the job hunting, 99% of the time will give you none. Let's say even 100% of the time, because even if they send you a rejection, they're not explaining to you why they're rejecting you. Hi, Shalom. After reviewing your resume, we decided to go with a more qualified candidate. But what do you mean? I checked the job description. I am more than qualified for this job. So you're not rejecting my qualification. You're rejecting me. Even the rejection comes with no closure. You do not get closure, and that is the worst part. You want to know why. The person who got the job, how are they more qualified than me? Did they have a degree and they have a master's? Is that why? Are they dark-skinned and I'm light-skinned? Is that why? Are they tall and I'm short? Is that why? The no assurance of, I will apply to this job and I'm gonna get it. So your nervous system is always on high alert. You get an opportunity to apply for a job, you're qualified for it, and you're just like, I'm second guessing my every move in this application. I'm asking myself, I'm going to apply to this job, but am I going to get it? And most of the time you find jobs where you apply, you get through the first round of interviews, and this is the most hurtful part. So you're on high alert. Oh my goodness, I actually did get a positive response. You applied to get through the first part of the interview process. You're happy, but you're always checking your email. Am I going to get another message? Am I going to get another email? Am I going to get, you're looking for the next step. And so imagine you've had a job, or you've been looking for a job for 2 years, and you suddenly get some positive response. And some companies will take you through 4 to 5 stages of applying, right? So in stage 2, you're feeling good about yourself, there's some flicker of hope coming back to you. You're constantly waiting to be told, yeah, you can move to the next stage, or yeah, we are going to hire you, or yeah, we're giving you an offer. And then silence. They do not say anything. They do not send you a reject letter. Some may, some will not. They will not tell you why they've gone silent on you. So it's just a process of, you've gone through this traumatizing period, this very hard period. You get a flicker of hope and then it's gone, just like that. And the most harmful belief that job hunting creates is, maybe if I were better, this wouldn't be happening. But guys, having said all that, I want you to remember this. Hiring decisions in companies are influenced by things like internal referrals. Probably they have posted a job, but they're waiting on their managers and their directors to refer someone. So if you're not in that circle, no matter how qualified you are, nobody's hiring you. Timing. Probably they are saying, all right, we're going to post a job, let's say a customer service job, but it is not urgent. So by the time that they're actually making a hiring decision, it is 2, 3, 4, 5 months of you who saw the job first, applying, not getting any response, and giving up. And how many times have you applied for a job and then 1 year later you're called for an interview? That happens. But are we talking about the waiting period because of their timing? Sometimes it is out of their control, their budget changes. We know that companies have ups and downs in their finances. So maybe when they were posting this job, they had the money to add a new member to their team, and then all of a sudden maybe the company is going through shit, they do not have money, but they're not communicating. They're not telling you, due to budget changes, we're not going to proceed with your application. It's just silence. Most of the things, or most of the part, or most of the job recruitment that is happening right now is using AI. So there's a lot of automation. If you have not tailored your resume to use the keywords that they have set on their side, then that means that completely you're out. The AI will not pick you, no matter how qualified you are. Let's talk about the most hard one, biasness. We know very well, I actually think that a lot of people can agree with me, there's a lot of biasness when it comes to hiring people. And you will find that I don't want to talk about tribalism and all that. I want to talk about resume biasness. So I have tailored my resume this way, and you may know me, so I am not qualified enough, but because I know someone who knows someone, I'm gonna get a job. And you who's very qualified and your resume is probably not up to date, but you do not know me or you do not know someone, nobody's giving you a job. So these are things that you never see when you're looking for a job. And it is okay to feel like, you know what, you blame yourself for outcomes that you cannot control. And that is where the trauma starts to form. Because you're blaming yourself. Why am I not getting a job? Why am I not good enough? Why am I being rejected? And over time, job trauma doesn't just hurt, it shrinks you. So you stop dreaming big. If you're applying for managerial jobs, now you're applying for assistant jobs. You start aiming safe. Maybe if this time I do not apply for a managerial job, probably I can just apply, an assistant job. You take roles that are beneath your skill level just to feel stable again. But it's not just because you lost ambition, it is because your brain has learned that hope can hurt. You find a job that you're qualified for, you not get it the first time, the second time, the third time, the 100th time. You will start to, maybe I should just go for a cleaner's job. And the worst part, you may not even get it. You may not get it. You're, an engineer, you're a doctor, you're a nurse, you're looking for a shopkeeper job. You will not get it. And that is okay, because that is self-protection. It is okay to say that, you know what, I've gone through this period, I've gone through this trauma, And it is okay to recognize when you're traumatized, because job hunting is truly and amazingly traumatizing. So healing will not start with more applications. Healing will start with safety. And I actually think that if this video put words to something that you've been carrying silently, you're not alone. If you've listened to this video to the end and you feel or you recognize the emotions and the trauma, you're not alone. And we are here, or rather I'm here to walk this journey with you. If you have followed me from TikTok, you know that I help people find jobs. So what I do is that I find jobs so you guys can apply to these jobs. And so I'm going to keep doing that on TikTok, but on YouTube I'm going to talk about real life experiences. And if you want honest conversations about work, about rejection, about healing, about rebuilding, then you need to subscribe to this channel, because this channel is about the truth and no shame. I'm going to attach my email below. If you'd like to talk about work trauma, anonymously, please send me an email. We can talk about it. And thank you so much, you guys. I appreciate you. If you've not subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe, share, and let's keep learning from each other.